Adventures are a thousand things, but one thing they're not is a drag.
Make sure it's
saying things that aren't real again.
It's my destiny.
okay. We are ready.
Ready.
I am out.
Hello, this is George Romero. You're listening to East Coast Horror Group.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, from Dusk Radio, proudly brings to you your podcast champions of the world. It's the East Coast Horror Group, me, Drew Sadler, and in the blue corner, hailing from parts unknown, Mr. Michael Exler. What's up, Mike?
Why am I from parts unknown?
I just thought that would be the coolest thing to say.
Whose was that? That was somebody's.
Undertaker, man. No, his was Death Valley, California. I think it was Kane.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Remember, Howard Finkel, dude.
Yeah, dude, he was the man.
Who did you like better, Bruce Buffer or Howard Finkel?
Dude, Howard Finkel, man. He was like my childhood. Michael Buffer was just some asshole.
He's the guy who did all the boxing and UFC stuff.
Yeah. Let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble. Apparently he's a kung fu master as well.
That's weird.
Anyway, thank you everyone for coming and checking us out here on this wonderful Thursday night. Thanks to everybody in chat joining us live. Thanks to everybody on Facebook Live. Thanks to everybody on YouTube. Thanks to everyone who downloaded. We do appreciate that. Make sure you stop on over to eastcoasthorrorgroup.com. Put some things up there recently. I think most recently, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, was the Hall of Fame ceremony from Days of the Dead Louisville.
That is correct. We just put that up today, actually. So go check that out. That's up on the website for you to enjoy. It's also on the YouTube channel, so go subscribe, comment, click like, do all that kind of stuff.
It helps us a great deal.
It doesn't, but do it anyway.
It will eventually.
Sometime. Yeah, but good news on that front. All the panels are now officially edited and ready to be put out there. So they got done today. So we're going to start tomorrow. We'll have that one for the weekend. It'll be the Crow reunion panel. So that's going to go out tomorrow.
It's a good one.
Started off with that, and then Monday I think we're going to go to the Ernie Hudson panel. So
Ernie Hudson.
It's on the docket.
It's not about the crucifixion.
It's about the resurrection.
But yeah, lots of good content out there. The Crow's a great one. Ernie's a great one. They were all fun in Louisville. We had a good time with all of that, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. They were good panels. Except
They
Tony
were.
calling me a racist.
What?
That was uncomfortable.
Did he tell you that?
No, he was just, I think he was joking around, and he said, "Well, did you think I was a gang member? Like, because he's black?"
Whoa.
I got all weird, and I was like, "Nope." It's like, I'm uncomfortable now.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
The only uncomfortable part that I would remember is whenever Kane was talking about gay people a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, so you have to look forward to that
Yeah.
on East Coast Horror Group.
Well,
Send all your hate mail to Kane at jasonvoorhees.com.
That's where you find them. Kane at kane.kane.
So that reminded me of a little something that we'll start off the show here with. During the Friday the 13th panel, the Jason Faces of Jaces panel at Days of the Dead Louisville, Kane talked a little bit about doing some more mocap for the Friday the 13th video game. So if you're a big Friday the 13th fan, that's good news for you. But if you're just more of a general horror fan, today, Dead by Daylight, I've mentioned on the show before, it's basically Friday the 13th except polished. Today you can play as Leatherface. So that is now 4 unique villains and Michael Myers and Leatherface that you can play as and Dead by Daylight. And lucky for you, it's $10 on Steam right now as opposed to the $40 that you'll pay for the Friday the 13th video game and probably the extra $20 you'll pay when the campaign actually comes out. Now, there is no campaign in Dead by Daylight. It is multiplayer only. 4 versus 1. But you get to be Leatherface and Michael Myers. The Michael Myers, the way that plays too. Mike, I don't know if you've ever seen gameplay of either of these games. I know you have for Jason.
Yeah, sadly, I've
but
seen it Friday the 13th.
The way that you build power as Michael Myers is not by killing people as much, but by stalking them. So the closer you get to someone, the more your power goes up, the more your abilities go up. If they see you and you keep stalking them, then more and more and more your power goes up. So as a survivor, it's fucking terrifying to see him because usually you just want to run, but not with Michael Myers. You want to try to, anyway. It's a cool mechanic, is what I'm trying to say.
How are the physics?
Physics are fine. You get to hang people on a hook every time you kill them. Yeah, and then they can struggle and get away. So I don't know. I think all in all, it's just a better game than Friday the 13th. I'm sorry, all you Friday the 13th fans out there. I know a lot went into that game, but it came up a little short, in my opinion.
Does that mean, like, if Leatherface smashes someone's head through, like, into a wall, it'll actually their head will go through the wall, but the wall's still
not exactly how the game works, to be honest. It's more you probably, because there was already a villain in Dead by Daylight who used a chainsaw, so I assume that mechanic will be similar, and then I assume that for close quarters combat he'll probably have a mallet.
Yeah. Leatherface did use a mallet.
He did indeed.
It's not a lie. Baby, bye, bye, bye.
Ain't no lie, baby, bye, 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 bye. Motherfucker, with you. Oh, man. So, what else do we got on the docket today? I figured we could start out with talking about FastCustomShirts.com. You can buy all of your East Coast Horror Group gear.
Which is a shirt.
Bam, Tim was on point with that, too. Good job, Tim. I just was trying to catch you off guard, but you did good. You did good, Tim. So, no, seriously, though, let's talk about Days of the Dead Chicago.
Yeah,
we talked about it a little bit pre-show, and I've been to a lot of Days of the Dead. You have been to probably double the amount of I have been. And in my opinion, this is the strongest lineup they've ever had for a show.
Yeah, dude, this lineup is really strong. I'm definitely excited about this one for show.
Yeah, and that's not just us trying to blow Days of the Dead, even though we love them and they've done a lot for us and let us be a part of this train. This is just me being completely honest. If I didn't like the lineup, I would just not say anything about it. I would just not bring it up until like the week before. But man, I mean, it's just headline after headline after headline. I mean, of course, you know that I'm most excited to meet Sean Astin, just because of what a Lord of the Rings fan I am. But I mean, Fairuza Balk, she's been to a Days of the Dead before, but I've never personally. Were you at the Days of the Dead that she was at the last time? Was it L.A.?
It was L.A. I didn't make that one because I was in the hospital.
Oh, that was your operation, the gender modification.
Yes.
So I mean, that's huge. Who doesn't love the craft, obviously? And Mike, I know you're a big fan of Return to Oz.
Yeah, dude. I'm probably gonna get her to sign my Laserdisc.
And then what?
And then probably get a picture with her and say thanks.
Wonder if I can get a picture with Ed Norton with the big swastika tattoo and the have her sign.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she probably would not like that at all. But then I don't know. I mean, like, she was in the movie. She did it.
She definitely was in the movie.
You know, I don't know. That's probably a bad thing to do.
But I mean, the moral of the story is that not to be a racist, right?
It's true.
I mean, really though, what was the moral of that story? Because eventually Eddie Furlong is like, "You're right. It's bad to be a racist," and then he gets killed by a racist guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure there is some meaning behind that film, but I don't really know what it is.
That's the first time I've really heard of obviously Ed Norton either.
Yeah.
That's usually not a role you usually can bounce back from and be nominated for Academy Awards and stuff. You got to be a great actor. If the first thing people remember you by is hating Jews.
Well, but he turned himself around in the film. I think that was the saving grace.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And maybe the whole thing is, you know, people can change. I have no idea.
Holy shit! It was such a fucking PSA moment for Mike. We have to, Tim. You have to take what Mike just said and put it against the NBC public service announcement music, because that was amazing.
Tim, delete the tape and start the show.
Mike, maybe that people can change.
They
I
can.
don't know why it got me so much, dude. It's not something I'm used to hearing you say. You're just like, people are shit and they'll always be shit.
Well, it's not how I feel, but I think the movie was trying to convey that.
Did it soften your heart a bit?
No.
Whatever
That was
happened to Eddie Furlong, too?
I don't know. It's a good question. He's probably doing stuff.
The answer is drugs. He is doing drugs.
I'll take
I'm
drugs for 1,000, Alex. But,
Drugs.
anyway, that was a great movie, American History X, that Fairuza Balk was in. Obviously, I mean, any movie from the 90s and early 2000s, Fairuza Balk was in, to be honest.
The Water Boy.
She was indeed in The Waterboy. And then we have Ryan Hurst, who I have a new appreciation for. I was never a fan of Sons of Anarchy. I think I watched 2 episodes. But, I mean, by far the best ancillary character on Bates Motel, if not one of the best ancillary characters of any TV show I can remember.
Agreed. He was amazing, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
People
Chick was an
can't.
amazing character.
He was, and it's almost like, and I don't know if we've talked about this on the show or just personally before, but it seems like he was supposed to be just a vehicle to get the dad to kind of leave the show.
Yeah.
But I think that people liked him so much, so they wrote him in more and more, and his character started to get deeper until he was just kind of this silent observer of Norman's descent into insanity, and was trying to write a book about it until Guyliner blew his fucking brains out. Spoiler if no one's seen that.
That he did, dude. That was the craziest death I've seen in a while. I didn't think Romero had gone that far, but he did.
And the lines that they gave him beforehand too, it was just something about, and something so shocking not even your mind can comprehend.
Yeah.
And then blows his brains out, and immediately your mind says no, which is exactly what he said beforehand. That your mind literally couldn't process it because you were so shocked. It went straight to denial. That was just your natural reaction, was denial. And he told you it was going to be, and it happened anyway. Great close to that character. Love that character. So I can't wait to talk to him about that. Hopefully there's some cool chick merch. I really don't know what there would be. Maybe he has a copy of the book that he was writing that's halfway finished.
That would be sweet. I actually, if if he does a panel, this will be. I talked to him at Horror Realm.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that was, I think, only his. He was only in the one season of Bates Motel at that point, and he couldn't tell me if he was coming back as that character at that point. But obviously he did, and everybody was happy.
I certainly was happy.
In the pants.
Well, you took it over the line there.
I try my
Took it
best.
over the line.
Over. So who else do we got?
Daphne Zuniga.
Which is awesome. Spaceballs. Kidding.
Nobody knows.
Fucking love that movie. As a kid, it was great, and as an adult, it's great. So everybody should watch that movie. And she was hot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the guy. It's the guy. He's not dead, is he?
Who?
The guy who played Han. Is it Bill Pullman?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Bill Pullman. He's not dead.
He was
Bill
in
Paxton?
the reboot of Independence Day, or the sequel to Independence Day, just this past year. But he looks quite a bit older. But yeah,
Well, that's
he's
what happens
older.
when 20 years pass.
I would say so.
That's he
I'm
was
out.
just in a TV show with Jessica Biel called The Sinner.
Huh.
So he's all like, he's older. He's got a beard that's all gray. He's old as shit.
We're going to give her back her old nose.
No.
Oh man, what a great movie.
I mean, pretty much every line of that movie is quotable. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even the most, minuscule lines are fucking hilarious.
Agreed. I mean, Junk, Andy. We have obviously Mel Brooks and Joan Rivers.
Yep.
I mean, just an all-star cast. So I'm curious to hear some stories about that. And Rick Moranis, I forgot to mention. I wonder how the fuck they got away with that with George Lucas.
That was real close.
No, it wasn't real close. That was 100%. That's what it was. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, they drove the Millennium Falcon and all that shit, dude.
But it was a bus.
It definitely was a bus. Ugh. Anyway, because I know that George Lucas was cool with like Robot Chicken and like had a hand in that a little bit, but man, they just they shit on their marketing and everything.
Actually, guys, George Lucas has always been kind of cool on that, which it's been surprising because Disney bought up Lucasfilm, and Disney is about the polar opposite. But he always encouraged like fan films and things. He actually would put sound effects out on the websites so people would have the proper blaster sounds and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm out.
You know what? Now that I think about this, for some reason my mind's recalling an article about George Lucas just asked them not to sell any merchandise, or had no merchandising rights for Spaceballs. I think that was part of the deal. Somebody out there can Google that and tell me if I'm right or not. But I thought
actually the chat room has already agreed with you on that.
Thank you, chat room, for
There.
proving me right yet again.
I'm out.
So I wonder if the part where he's like, merchandising, was that a dig at them? Then, I wonder?
I'm sure it was, right? I mean,
Again,
Spaceballs.
confirmed.
Wow.
Confirmed.
Spaceballs the toilet paper. Spaceballs the flamethrower.
Yes, dude.
Dude, that's awesome. I never knew
I
that.
see your Schwartz as big as mine. Oh
Surrounded
man,
by assholes.
combing the desert. I found shit.
Shit. I want to go watch that movie. All right.
I
Well,
God, oh great. Anyway, moving on from that, pretty much another headliner, Dee Snider, who we got to talk to in Indianapolis, will return to Days of the Dead for Chicago. I know they're a big music city. I'm sure that they will turn out for Dee, just like they have Alice Cooper and et cetera in the past. So that'll be a fun one. He's always a good time. I hope he tells the story about the janitor again.
I'm sure he's got like 1,000 stories. Like,
Probably
you can
true.
Never hear the same one twice. So that'll be cool to talk to him again. He was nice.
And then we have another little Hellraiser reunion here with all of the Cenobites. Butterball, Pinhead, the female Cenobite Chatterer, and then, of course, is Doug Bradley, Simon Bamford, that Mike likes to just use his name for no reason a lot of the time.
What are you talking about?
Mike will oftentimes just put into a chat, Simon Bamford,
Never done that
with
once.
no context whatsoever.
Never done it.
You're a liar. Tim, can you back me up on that?
It's
You
true.
bastard.
You are
Thank
a
you.
liar.
Damn it.
Oh,
I'm out.
Anyway, plus we now have Andrew Robinson, who was Frank, obviously, in Hellraiser, who I have never met yet,
I
and who was
haven't either.
obviously an enormous part of that film.
Dude, I gotta pull the poster off the wall and bring it.
You do.
Yeah, gotta add that signature.
There's got to be a shirt somewhere of just that last scene with him, right, where he says Jesus wept and all those hooks are coming out of his face.
Oh, for sure. I mean, someone's
I
got
got-
like that shirt all over the place.
I gotta find that. Anyway. So, and then we'll see again Mr. Ernie Hudson himself. So we're gonna be friends with Ernie here pretty soon. It's pretty much gonna be on the Christmas card list.
I don't know about that.
We'll talk about the crucifixion.
Let's talk more about the Crow. He seemed more interested in talking about the Crow in Congo than anything else.
Indeed.
Those will be films, plus more that we'll speak to Ernie Hudson about.
He's seen shit that'll turn you white. Anyway. Then we have Jeremy Bullock, who was none other than the
Boba
most
Fett.
dangerous bounty hunter in the entire galaxy.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett. It's not Django, I'll tell you that.
Jango Fett?
Yeah.
No, it's not. He was a man of Spanish origin, it would seem.
He got his shit cut off.
Yeah, and then they cloned him. That's what the clone army was.
Yep.
Just a bunch of Jango Fetts.
The real one had no head, like Ned Stark.
Don't talk about Ned that way, please.
Please.
And then the twisted minds behind Dead Hooker in a Trunk and American Mary, among others. Jen and Sylvia Soska, the Soska sisters, will be there.
Yeah, they always bring the fun. They had a TV show called Hellevator on the Game Show Network. And I did not watch it, but I'll watch it to brush up for the panel. See what that's all about. I guess it's a scary game show.
Where you're stuck in an elevator?
Stuck in an elevator, Drew spitting up, and he's going down.
I actually watched that show when it was on, and
Tell us about it, Tim.
It's basically a reality slash game show where you go on the elevator. In between, they basically got some warehouse someplace that looks like it came out of Saw movies, and the elevator goes between scenes. They set up a room, and they usually have lots of disgusting stuff for people to go through to try to find something in some room. You know, like they'll put a key at the bottom of a gigantic bag of pig entrails or something. And then once you find the key, like some dude dressed up in a chainsaw will chase you around, and you know, it's just different types of puzzles and things. But it wasn't a bad show. I don't know that it scared anybody, but it was almost like a version of Fear Factor.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, it sounds a lot like Fear Factor.
Yeah.
Fear is not a factor for you.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan is real high.
I was not a fan, but it was, you know, you could put it on in the background, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so it's nice to talk to them about just being geniuses as far as directing goes and having as much success as they've had. And,
Oops. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm out.
Tim, why in the fuck would you interrupt me to tell me you were leaving?
Do it again, Tim. That was amazing.
Shit. What a piece of shit, dude. Ugh.
That timing was perfect. Just, damn, I gotta learn that type of timing.
Oh, you're the worst, dude. Absolute worst. Anyway, yeah, just to kind of get from their mouths the kind of the aperture, the curve, as you will, of their rise to fame and just their creativity and obviously the difficulties of being a woman in the field. So I'm interested to talk to them about that and hopefully get some info on what they're up to next. Now, Mike, this is something I think is a little bit close to your heart here. We have a little bit of a RoboCop reunion coming.
Yeah, the two members of Clarence's squad will be there, or well, one member, I'm sorry, Ray Weiss, he was on Clarence Boddick's team, and then pretty much the main bad guy, Dick Jones, Ronnie Cox will be there. I'm super stoked to see, both of them, but Ronnie Cox is awesome, dude. He's Dick Jones from RoboCop, and he was also in Total Recall. So
indeed,
I mean, that is pretty sweet.
The real Total Recall, the Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. So I'm super stoked. I'm not sure if there's going to be a RoboCop panel. Probably just a Ray Weiss panel if he does one. But I would love to sit down and talk to Ronnie Cox. That would be amazing, dude. He's the creator of Ed 209, dude. That's so awesome. Ed 209. But yeah, Ray Weiss obviously has a long film career. The Twin Peaks kids love him, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, he was from the beginning, man. Twin Peaks in the 90s, and then Fire Walk with Me, and then the latest season as well. I mean, not to mention the other 65 million fucking movies he was in, dating back into the 80s.
Yeah.
And even before.
It's quite the extensive filmography.
Yeah, his IMDb page, his credits on the IMDb page are longer than Eddie Furlong's fucking rap sheet.
Oh, what's the Eddie Furlong hate tonight?
But no, I'm interested to see. He was also in the Fargo TV series, the latest one. But I'm just, besides Naomi Watts, maybe I don't know if there's anyone who's been around David Lynch more. I mean, he was in 3 entire seasons of his television show plus a film.
Right.
So if anybody could help to get us into the mind of David Lynch, it would be him. Plus, maybe he can answer some of the questions we all have from Twin Peaks. I don't think there are answers to those questions, to be honest with you. I don't think David Lynch ever wanted there to be answers to this question.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
But obviously also in X-Men First Class and Jeepers Creepers 2. I mean, and if that wasn't enough, but wait, there's more. Newt and Timmy from Aliens, both of the kids will be there. I'm a big Aliens fan, Alien in general. Besides H.R. Giger, sorry.
Ugh.
The right pronunciation.
I know, dude, but I hate it. It sounds fucking stupid.
I hate the correct pronunciation of your name.
It does. It's fucking dumb.
I'm gonna call you Mike Exlear from now on.
It's so pretentious, dude. It's like, no, that's not how it's said.
No, it is. His wife literally pronounced it that way.
Well, she's an asshole, and so is he.
You're an asshole.
That's like the person that was like, man, I really want my name to be Jeff, but don't you dare spell it Jeff.
Spell it Geoff, motherfucker.
You spell it Geoff, motherfucker. I'll just call it what I want to call it. Bullshit.
I think that has more to do with the old English spelling. But whatever.
Dumb.
And then we have Alice Creed who was also in. Do you remember from Silent Hill? She was basically the person who fucked up the girl the worst, who set her on fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am a big Silent Hill fan. That character didn't exist in the video games, but it was just a cool way to kind of tie that story in, because you couldn't just have that girl be a manifestation of nothingness like they kind of did in the game. But
dude, I'll tell you what, Silent Hill, though not a very good film, I will watch it if it's on.
yeah, I mean, Pyramid Head itself is just such an intimidating character.
It's so well shot and it looks so good, and Sean Bean doesn't die.
Sean Bean, doesn't he? Are you sure?
Does he die, really?
Pretty sure he does.
I mean, it's not shocking if he does die.
Pretty sure he does die, because they go to the town, but they're not in it at the same time. And I don't know. I don't want to ruin the movie, of course. But no.
It's a little
It's
confusing.
now 15 years. Yeah, it's true. It's now 15 years old, probably. But she's also in the new Thor movie, which no one has seen yet.
Sean Bean is in the new Thor movie?
No, Alice Krige.
Oh.
And then, last but not least, I wanted to mention Diora Baird from Night of the Demons remake, and also Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. Besides being a talented actress, also probably one of the most beautiful women to ever live. Not even. Also, former Playboy centerfold. So, and they're not even done yet. We just talked for 31 minutes about the guest list, and there's literally not one person that was like, "Oh, that's filler."
You know, like I don't understand how you can look down and see like 5 headliners that would be at
Literally,
other
yeah,
shows
dude.
as headliners. Like
Ray
I
Weiss
just
would be a headliner anywhere. Sasuke's sister would be a headliner.
just don't get it. Like what do you guys want if that's not it? I don't get it.
Seriously.
Maybe I'm not meant to get it. Maybe that's the trick.
Maybe it's one of those David Lynch things.
Could be.
But yes. So that is Days of the Dead Chicago, shaping up to be the best Days of the Dead ever.
In the world.
And I'm excited to see what else comes out of it. So I have a feeling there'll probably be a wrestler or something at it, just because that's a Days of the Dead thing.
Stone
So-
Cold. No, I'm kidding. It's not.
There was Drew.
If they ever announce Stone Cold, dude, I'll probably explode on Facebook.
Dude, I would just follow him around with a boombox, playing the glass breaking every time. Every time he would enter a new room, I'd be like, "You gotta stop for a second. Hold on, Stone Cold. Turn all the lights off, play the music, and then turn them off. Turn them on again. I mean,
Oh, one guest that we forgot to mention is Galen Gorg. I think is her name. I guess she was also in Twin Peaks, but she was in RoboCop 2. So that's another tie-in.
I didn't. She's not on the webpage, so that's why I didn't see her.
Yeah, I just remembered it actually. And I looked on the Facebook, but she was the main bad guy's girlfriend. And, he ends up snapping her neck when he turns into a machine. That is pretty sweet.
What you gotta do sometimes, I guess. It's just be acting up.
Shit. So it'll be.
Of course,
real.
I don't condone domestic violence. I apologize for anyone who took it that way.
Thanks.
Now,
Stop.
we do want to talk about it. We're just going to spoil the fuck out of it and probably talk about it a little bit, just kind of our thoughts. I will say that to the end of the show, because that'll probably take up the rest of the show.
Can we talk about American Horror Story real quick?
Sure. I saw the first episode only.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm caught up. Now, what are your thoughts initially?
Obviously, I think that they are going for a ratings grab by shitting on the president like everybody else is. Not that he doesn't deserve to be shit on.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that there were other vehicles to get them to where they needed to go.
Yeah.
But that's the direction they went in. I think that Billy Lord, who was in Scream Queens, Michael, who is also the daughter of Princess Leia, the real life daughter.
Of Carrie Fisher?
Yeah.
What character is she?
She is Evan Peters' girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
But as I was going to say, Evan Peters has an amazing character this time, and I'm really, really excited to see him be able to dig his claws into this and kind of bring it out to what I expect it to be. Looks like he kind of reminds me of Charlie Manson trying to start kind of like a race war.
Yeah.
But he's just looking for trouble, man. He's one of those kind of tinfoil hat guys who just kind of wants to see the world burn.
Right.
And he's excited that what's happening is happening. Sarah Paulson is just annoys me.
Thank you.
Her character just annoys the shit out of me.
Ugh.
Her wife is good.
Yeah, I agree.
I think she's a little more grounded in reality, but like, just the fact that she can't grasp that what she's seeing isn't fucking real,
Right.
and she just whines about it. And
Dude.
her wife is like, you know what, get over this shit, just like anybody else would. And I don't know, her character just is annoying the shit out of me this season.
Yeah, dude, I think Evan Peters is definitely going to be the bright spot of this. I was a little disappointed that they went after, the Trump fucking thing.
Right.
Not because, like, how dare you go after the president or whatever, and fuck that. I mean, he deserves it. He's an idiot, whatever. But, like, come on, dude. Like, this is the, what, 6th season? 7th, maybe?
I think 7, yeah.
7? Like, you're an established show. Like, I don't think you need to go for that fucking, like, oh, look at us. I just don't get it. And there was some parts in the first one where they were trying to really put tension in the scene and keep you on edge. But Sarah Paulson, anytime she opened her mouth, I wanted to stab her in the face with a popsicle stick. Fuck. I'm sorry, dude. I don't think she's a good actress at all. Not one bit that I've seen of her on American Horror Story has been like, yeah, she's pretty good. No, she's fucking awful. And now she's playing an awful person. So it's like two awfuls coming together to make this awful sandwich that you have to watch for an hour. Yeah, she's taken me out of it pretty bad. The clowns are cool. I'm sure we'll learn more about those. But I don't know. The second episode is definitely just really laying down the foundation of the story. So.
I mean, I'm interested in Billy Lord and Evan Peters and what they're going to do together. That was for me the biggest takeaway, or the most intriguing plot line that I found. Sarah Paulson just whining about clowns and holes and shit, like, just annoys me, to be honest. And
you're gonna love the second episode then.
And she backs her car into a fucking telephone pole or something in the parking lot of the grocery store and was like, there's a clown trying to kill me. And like, there's cameras fucking everywhere, dude. Nobody tried to kill you. Just face me, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude.
And what set her off? I mean, what set her off obviously was the president being elected, but then the real first time you see it is when she finds her son's comic book about killer clowns, and then it kind of just all spirals out of control from there.
Now, did you see the clown that they brought back from a past season?
Twisty, yeah.
Now, why is he in this reality? Wasn't Freak Show like in the fucking 50s and shit?
Yeah, but he had his same home or whatever in that bus. Do you remember if he died in Freak Show?
Right. Something happened to him because he went away, and I was like, oh great, you took the best character away, but I don't remember what happened to him.
Where the fuck is Finn Wittrick at? That's what needs to save this fucking series so far.
Yeah, well, yeah, dude, I have not seen his name associated with this though, and Kathy Bates isn't in this either.
No, Kathy Bates is in a show on Netflix now called Disjointed.
Which is funny if you can get past the goddamn laugh track.
Yeah, dude, it is funny. I'm like, hey, that was funny. You didn't have to tell me. Thanks.
Yep. Like, her character's great. I
Yeah.
think it's fucking hilarious, but God, that laugh track, man. No bueno. You know what I mean, man?
So yeah. If Finn Wittrick's not in it, that's going to be sucky. Because he did a great job last season in Hotel. Last season was Hotel, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No, last season was Roanoke.
Oh fuck, you're right. Well, was Finn Wittrick wasn't in that, was he?
I don't know.
Nor was Wes Brantley. I don't think was in it either, was he? Oh, he was a little bit.
Yeah. Same with
Anyway.
like the best actor in their troupe, Dennis O'Hare. He was in it for like 2 seconds.
Oh shit, you're right. Where is Dennis O'Hare in this season?
I don't know.
He in the second episode?
Yeah.
Fuck, what are they doing?
I don't know. I do not know, but
No.
I don't know. I'll keep watching, but I don't know. We'll see.
We talked a little bit on the other show about Dead on Movie Reviews. This is on Select Tuesdays. But thanks,
Bata.
Tim.
Did you say Bata?
But you don't know about that?
Yeah, dude. It's weird.
Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that last one. I'm sorry, guys. Oh no. We were talking about Days of the Dead and Days of the Dead, The Walking Dead, and I still haven't seen all the last season. Does it come back soon?
October 22nd.
Are you gonna watch it?
Dude, I've fucking put in blood, sweat, and tears into this fucking thing. Tears because it's usually so bad. Like, I have to finish it. Like, I need to know what happens.
I don't think it's ever gonna finish.
No,
I think they're gonna put off 20 seasons if they can.
I don't know. Fear the Walking Dead started again, and it's really good again. So,
Still have not.
Definitely more stoked for Fear the Walking Dead than I am the regular Walking Dead. Because it's well done, and they must have totally different writers.
Yeah, but I mean that's my opinion on The Walking Dead. Maybe I'll catch up so that we can talk about it on the show. But I'm certainly not on the edge of my seat. I'm certainly not counting down the seconds like I am to the new Game of Thrones season.
In 2019,
No, dude, they said it'll be back next fall.
next fall.
Yeah.
Ugh. I want it to be like tomorrow.
Yeah. So
2019.
you'll probably be able to read George R.R. Martin's next novel in between those.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that.
It'll probably only be 1,400 pages or so.
Exactly. Speaking of it, I had a segue there and I completely lost it.
When were we speaking of it?
We weren't. But there was a segue that I wanted to do. Fuck it, we could just start talking about it.
During the preview of it, there was a new Darren Aronofsky movie preview called Mother! Exclamation point.
Yeah.
With Jennifer Lawrence and I never remember the dude's name, but the bad guy from No Country for Old Men, Javier something like that.
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem. Yes, he is an Academy Award winner.
No
so he
Country
probably
Hey,
deserves the name.
Drew, I'm out.
Yeah. Kill yourself right now.
Dude, are you excited to see that movie?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I like Jennifer. I think Jennifer Lawrence is a great actress.
Dude,
and obviously, so is Javier Bardem.
The film did the thing that you hate the most.
What do you mean?
It advertised how scary it is. Because their whole thing in the preview is you will remember where you were at the first time you saw Mother. It's like, the scariest film ever made, the Evil Dead remake.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. The marketing department can be stupid about it, but when you have Darren Aronofsky, who has credits like Pie and A Requiem for a Dream under his belt, you know that it's not going to be bullshit. You know that it's not going to be like everything else. And it'll be a good cerebral horror film, which is exactly what I like. And with actors like that on board, I mean, especially Jennifer Lawrence will pretty much do anything. And not do anything, but she's not super picky. Let's just say that. I mean, usually you don't do something like the Silver Linings Playbook and the Hunger Games. You know, so her range is, maybe that's what it is. Maybe she just has range. But Javier Bardem could play pretty much anything and only takes very specific roles. So I'm interested to see what he signed on for here. And that's really all I want to know. I didn't even look at the IMDb page for it. I don't want to do any more research on it just because I know that I want to go into it almost completely blind. And that's really, they didn't really give you a ton of information during the preview at all.
I don't know what that movie's about at all.
It was just like, hey, look at these great actors. Also, this director's super famous and talented. You should watch it. It'll be scary. So, I don't know. I was cool with that. And also, before the show, we talked, we watched a trailer. You had seen it already, but I had not. It's Guillermo del Toro's new film, The Shape of Water. What did you think about it, Mike?
I don't know. I see a lot of a story that's already been told, wrapped up into a pretty looking film.
Yeah, I mean, usually everything he does is usually very pretty. It definitely reminded me of something Guillermo del Toro would do. It reminded me a lot of Pan's Labyrinth, just how it was kind of had that charm and innocence, but also, some terrifying things as well. It looked kind of like the creature from the Black Lagoon in modern day time.
I don't know. There's always those films that come out kind of like Short Circuit, like, it's an inanimate object, but it still can feel.
Right.
This thing's obviously a monster, but just by the look of it. So it's just that kind of theme, so I don't know. Not really into those type of films.
I don't think Guillermo del Toro has ever done anything that I didn't like.
Dude, his last movie that I saw was fucking shite.
What?
The one with the little monsters.
Pacific Rim?
No, man. That one was fun. Did he do Pacific Rim?
Yeah.
No, I liked that movie. That was pretty cool. Someone in the chat room fucking IMDb him, and he did a movie with these little creatures that ran around and they lived in the fucking furnace in the basement.
It's something like Don't Go in the Basement. I'm almost positive. I'll look it up though.
Yeah, the movie's complete.
You're talking about the movie Gremlins, right?
No. Please play along.
Oh, you're talking about the movie Puppet Master.
Don't look in your underwear shoes.
The Gate. That's what you meant. The Gate.
I like The Gate. The Gate I like.
The Gape?
The Gate.
Yes, dude.
Actually, Guillermo del
Go
Toro
to the
is
Gate.
also the guy that created The Strain, which is what Sean Astin is in currently-ish.
Isn't that the vampire TV show?
Yeah, it's actually very good. I've talked about it before on one of these shows. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. That's what the name of the thing
Yeah,
was.
ever watch that movie.org is what it should be called.
Wait, was that a reboot of the 1990s Nick?
No.
No.
That's Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah. Dude, whatever you do, I implore you, if you ever loved Are You Afraid of the Dark, leave that shit in your childhood. Do not watch it now.
I watched it with my nieces about a year ago, and yeah, we watched the one with the clowns in the haunted house where the haunted house would come to life.
Right. Remember that one. I remember he put spaghetti in the fucking microwave and it turned into a bunch of cigar butts.
That's true, dude.
Yeah, dude, I loved that TV show, and when I worked at Hollywood Video, someone burned a bunch of copies of it, and so I took one and went home and put it in, and I was like, oh my god, this is fucking awful.
But 9-year-old Mike loved it.
He did. It was a big part of his life. So was Hey Dude and Salute Your Shorts.
Hey, dude.
Awful.
That girl eventually got married to Ben Stiller.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
she
they're
was in
divorced now, I
Dodge.
believe. Yeah. Fucking ugly, dude, as well. and Budnick and Donkey Lips. Whatever happened to all those people?
Donkey Lips has been in a bunch of shit lately, just as like side roles. He pops up every once in a while.
Anyway, so enough about Hey Dude and Salute Your Shorts. Let's talk about it finally here. So broke everybody's expectations of the box office. Did something like 110 million over the weekend.
Highest grossing horror movie ever.
Even I think beat, as far as rated R release, beat Deadpool, I believe. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if nothing else comes from this, more big budget horror films can get greenlit. Hopefully just not more remakes, because this wasn't really a remake in my opinion. This was a reimagining.
This actually was not what would be considered a high budget horror movie. I believe it was made for about 40 million. So it'd be kind of a B picture anyway. Which it just makes the money that they made on this thing all the more impressive.
It looked really good, I thought. It was a little dark at times.
There were some hokey special effects, I thought, especially if you remember the time where it kind of comes out of the closet all twisted up.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, I thought that they did a good job of blending CGI with reality. But I mean, it was just a great all-around film. We talked about it a lot on Dead On Movie Reviews last week. That'll be up here.
You said that Pennywise is on the spectrum. Expand upon that. I'm confused.
I wish we had something to play here, just audibly wise, so you could listen to him. But I swear to God, if you listen to him talk, he's like slow. Hi, Georgie. I swear, listen to that shit over again. I am 100% serious about that. He has these weird, buck teeth, and he's slow. This is real.
Drew, I think I might have found something. Let's see if this works.
Okay.
No, that's not it. I don't know if that was too impressive.
What the fuck was that, Tim?
He laughs and he says, "Want a balloon?" But that wasn't too. It's hard to find just here. See, there's a lot of stuff where he's talking about playing the part. It's kind of tough to find just him talking out on YouTube.
Just the very first scene, whenever him and Georgie are talking to each other, I think it probably shines through there the most.
Right.
Well, I thought he was just trying to talk to him like a child.
No, he keeps doing it throughout the film.
But they introduced themselves, so they're not strangers anymore.
No, we're not strangers. My name's Pennywise, the dancing clown.
I'm
I swear
out.
to God, dude. You have to watch that over again with that in your mind, and you won't be afraid of it anymore, unfortunately. But that's all I can think of. I'm like, so what is this dude like? Why is this clown slow?
He's not.
Yes.
You have a thing against slow people, and you're
No,
taking
I
it out
don't.
on Pennywise.
No, I don't.
Ugh.
No.
This keeps coming back to his hatred of clowns, and I don't think it's very attractive on him. I'm out.
I have nothing against clowns, by the way.
I was thinking that Tim was saying that Tim Curry's Pennywise was a little bit more kid friendly. Like this guy's Bill Skarsgård Pennywise is you can just tell he's a monster. But my thing is, on the real, if anything was in the sewer talking to me, I wouldn't go up to it at all. I
Right.
don't care if he had anything of mine. I'm not.
30-something-year-old Mike says that with a rational mind. But how old was Georgie? 5, 6 years old? These are kids. They don't know. They don't really understand that yet.
Yeah, I was 10, and there's no way I would have went and got that fucking boat from that thing talking to me.
But your brother was going to kill you.
Good dude. I would have fucking been like, listen, yo, there's a clown in the sewer, son. What did you want me to do? You can't fuck with that. It's raining. Fucking hit my head and shit.
And then you get half of your body chewed off. That shit was fucked up, dude. Like, I was not expecting that right off the fucking bat, man.
Nope, not
I
that
just watched
blood.
a toddler be chewed in half, physically. And the kid gets up and starts flopping around and blood spurting out like a Japanese fucking gore flick, man.
And then
That was nuts.
when Pennywise fucking his arm grows and he reaches and pulls him back, you just see the pool of blood in the rainwater. Dude, that was fucking nuts.
And the one lady's like out watering her plants, just kind of looks strangely at the puddle of blood.
Where the child once
Yeah.
stand. That's the
But
thing.
I mean,
That town was terrible, dude. Obviously, everybody knew that those kids were bullying. It wasn't even bullying; it was assault for the most fucking part.
yeah.
Like nobody gave a fuck about that, man. That town was an awful town.
Well, and there was the cop's fucking son who was the biggest douche of all.
You know?
He got his, though.
Yeah, he did. So did his dad.
Yeah, like, I don't understand. Pennywise recruits this kid to, like, hey, you should go kill these other little kids. But all you're going to do is stab your dad in the throat and then fall down a well.
Nice work.
Like, good pick, Pennywise. There's another fucking check mark in that Pennywise's slow column.
I do not see him as slow, and I'm sorry that your hatred is blinded.
No, nothing. There's nothing to do with it. Watch the movie over again.
Mike, I've been listening very closely, and I believe that Drew's his prejudices, all of his hatred,
No!
all of his racism and his misogyny,
Wait, no!
I don't
No,
think
no,
that's
no.
involved this time. I think this time it's only his clown hatred is the
I don't
only
even
thing
hate
that's
clowns.
affected. I think all of his, particularly his racism, which we know is
No,
rampant,
you
I
can't
don't
say
think
that. This
that's
is-
a part
you
of
don't even hear
this.
this.
I
It's real.
I really don't think that's part of it.
We had an interview for a job one time. They'd be like, Drew, what
I'm
about this racism they're talking about? We can't hire you. You're obviously a racist, misogynist bigot. Tim Kretschmann said so. Anyway, but yeah, the moral of the story is Pennywise, is on the spectrum. So, but then here's the thing that I took away from it, and it's good and bad. But I felt like I laughed just as much as I was scared.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's what you want from a true horror film. Because there were some times where the lines that the kids would pull off just cracked me the fuck up, dude. And I would miss something that's scary.
Well, I forget who said it. I think it was Wes Craven. One of the panels that we did, someone was saying that one of the directors said, without comedy, the scare, you have to have that balance because you have to have that feeling of being safe and it's funny and haha, and then you're supposed to get hit with the scare. I don't know if they were trying to do that or not, but I found the kids to be very funny. The lines were perfectly delivered and they were funny, so I laughed.
Oh, I laughed.
But I'm glad they went to a darker place with it. Knowing of the book, I never read it, but I don't think it should have been an ABC miniseries with the dark nature of the content. And one thing he seemed a lot like Freddy to me. Did you get that?
Yeah, pretty head down syndrome.
I hate you so much.
Okay.
But he works on fear. That's the same thing that Freddy works on. And
But you have to be asleep.
But once they stopped fearing him, he started to get weak. Which is the
Or did
same
he?
thing as Freddy.
Apparently, there was a scene after the credits that I missed that I'll have to look up on YouTube later. That kind of helps as a transition to chapter 2. But Finn Wolford and the fucking lines he would come up with, especially against the little hypochondriac kid, Holy shit! They're all talking about like how they. There's a scene right in front of the creepy house. And they're all talking about the different times that they've seen it or these fucked up things that have happened to them outside of, when they're together or actually seeing the clown. And he had never seen anything. He's like, "What the fuck is this?" He's like, "Only virgins can see this stuff." Anyway, it was funny. But they left out the whole group sex scene, which I thought was strange. Of course, they asked Stephen King about that again since this movie has come out. His response was really strange, I thought. He's like, "Yeah, back then, I guess people just reacted differently to that kind of stuff." I'm thinking to myself, what? Who the fuck reacts differently to group sex between 12 and 13-year-olds? Like, why was it acceptable back then?
And back then was in 1986.
Yeah.
That's when he wrote it, so I don't know how back then was. I was 6 years old.
But all in all, one of the best horror movies to come out of Hollywood in a long time that I can remember. That isn't something we had to track down or know the scene to actually find. So congratulations to these people who put this together. It looks like Cary Fukunaga did write the screenplay, even though he didn't direct it. So hopefully he read the screenplay for the second one as well. And they get to use that because it was really good.
I agree. I liked it. I guess they're saying obviously it's going to be about the grown-ups this time.
Right.
But they're also going to delve into sort of a backstory on Pennywise. So,
well, what happened was Pennywise was at a school for autistic kids. And just really just read...
Oh, God.
God, this is horrible. Drew fucking tearing up on mentally handicapped people.
That's not what I'm doing!
Oh, man.
It was okay until he said all the clowns were Italian and he went off on that rant. That was the bad part. That was just way off. That was way off, and I think he should be censured. But okay, I'm out.
Yeah, those fucking Italians and their delicious coffee and food. Like, how do you even be raised towards an Italian person? Makes no sense. Anyway, you guys got me all flustered now. Mike, what else do you have to say about it before we close this fucking dumpster fire down?
Why is it a dumpster fire? It's been good. There's a lot of insightful moments, like people can change.
People can change. And with that, I think we'll end the show. From Michael Exler, remember, people can change. Join us next Thursday to see if we have on another episode of From Dusk Till Dawn Radio for all the cons, creeps, and culture that you can stomach and change. Oh, that was a violation of intellectual property rights.